Good morning. Um, so Lisa is asking us, how do I find my purpose and be truly of use in this world?
It's a really good question.
Um, it's
It's a hard question.
well,
People struggle with this.
they do. I'm going to disagree with parts of the question. Um,
He likes to deny the premise.
well, because this is the thing about premise about a question puts forth a philosophical construct, and as soon as you start to answer the question, you're agreeing to a certain series of precepts about life essentially. And so sometimes when I get a question that someone is struggling with, sometimes I think the problem might be the question.
Sure.
Sometimes.
Fair. So what do you think is the problem with the question?
Well, I think for one thing, how do I find my purpose? I I I do a lot of writing and I do a lot of jiu-jitsu and I am a therapist and I like to cook and whenever I found myself identifying with one of those things, I kind of lost my way. And I feel like our purpose in life is to become integrated, whole, wonderful, fantastic human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that it sounds when I hear how do I find my purpose, it's almost like what am I supposed to be doing in this world? Well, what you're supposed to be doing is healing yourself and becoming a fantastic human. And out of that will come purposeful action.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you I feel like the question externalizes the problem. Like, how do I find the thing that's out there?
Mm-hmm.
The point is to when you integrate and you become fantastic, which is a whole, like, how does that happen? Well, nobody really knows.
By the way, she's already fantastic.
You're already fantastic.
She's already fantastic.
So when you become even more fantastic and more integrated and more lots of exclamation points.
Yes.
Your purposes will just happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my opinion.
That actually was going to be precisely what my answer was going to
really
be.
Precisely, like
exactly to the word
with
verbatim.
all of my my inflections and
yes,
and
even right down to the jiu-jitsu, which I have never done, but apparently it's like violent cuddling.
Oh, it's wonderful fun.
Oh,
I recommend jiu-jitsu for Brazilian jiu-jitsu for everyone.
Okay.
It's really, really good. It's really good.
But yeah, my answer to the purpose question was basically the same, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the idea of just kind of doing what makes you happy. And because I think a lot of healing can be found in doing the things that make you happy, purely because they do bring you joy, rather than feeling like you need to do a certain activity to become a certain way or fulfill some kind of broken part of you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, yeah, I mean, I think the answer of just like become the best human you can be. And like, I know Lisa, and she's like very much doing that on pretty much a daily basis. So I think that she has less to worry about. But and truly being of use in this world, the second part of the question is, I think in some ways it's still the exact same answer, because we do have to become whole and healed individuals before we can really kind of go out and make a huge difference. And I think my caveat to that is that you can heal yourself by helping others, and people do, and that's a wonderful way to do it. It works for some of us, not for all of us. I think it's mostly about knowing yourself and knowing, if you need to fill yourself up first, or if helping others will fill you up. And I think there's a teacher I love. Her name is Cherry Huber, and she's like a Zen meditation something. I don't know. I shouldn't say that because I don't know precisely what she is. But she says something about being a social relief. And basically that means to take care of yourself first, and like take care of your whole emotional self, and like, don't go out into the world and like take your problems and kind of inflict them on others, which I think is easy to do when we haven't done the work of healing ourselves before we kind of race out and try to help everybody else.
Yeah.
And again, that's a fine balance, and that just requires, knowing yourself, and, but really knowing yourself comes from doing all of this work.
I agree.
And this work can take so many different tones and tenors, and there are so many ways into it. And basically the thing to remember is that, all of those ways lead you to yourself. Basically, it doesn't matter what you choose. Just choose something and keep moving with it until it, hey, maybe it doesn't feel like a good idea, and then choose something else and move with that. but everything will take you where you want to go. For real, I believe that.
Yeah, I'll probably end up saying the same stuff.
Okay, cool.
So a couple analogies. The first one is when I'm not a Christian, but Jesus said some pretty interesting stuff. I think
Jesus was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think one of the things he said was, and someone's going to correct me because this is the internet, that you don't stop for the beggars along the road, something along those lines. And what he was saying is that you got to conserve your energy for you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you give away if you're giving away your money, you're not actually making yourself into a wealthier person. So that when you are truly wealthy, you can really make a difference in the world. So I think part of what you're talking about is like conserving your power.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're just looking to like be truly of use in the world, and like let's say you go and work at a nonprofit for a million years, that's awesome. I'm glad you did that. But think about what you could have accomplished. I don't mean to diss nonprofits, but nonprofits are really, really important.
I worked for a nonprofit and trying to live in San Francisco on $400 a week. It's
right.
hard.
Yeah. No, I mean nonprofits. If we didn't have
but it's hard.
nonprofits,
Yeah.
it would be a terrible thing.
Right.
But I guess what I mean is that be a little bit selfish about
Mm-hmm.
your power and your time and your money, and conserve it for yourself so that you can literally have more of it
Mm-hmm.
to literally give away later
Mm-hmm.
when you really have the ability to do
Right.
that. In a paradoxical sense, when we give away our power, when we help others too soon, we are actually doing a disservice to the world because you're sucking your own energy and you are not allowing yourself to grow into the person that you need to become.
Yeah.
Go on.
I just have one thing to add really quickly to that.
One thing is fine.
So one of the coaches that I work with says something that I really like about when you make yourself a happier person, you add that much happiness to the world. Like the world wants you to have a job you love and to be making the money that you need and want and to be in a wonderful relationship. Like the world wants all of those things for you because that makes you that much happier in the world, and that makes the whole, because we all are pieces of the whole.
Mm-hmm.
And so when your particular piece is in a great space,
Mm-hmm.
everyone benefits.
Yes, and that was my point actually. Yes. I guess the idea is to make the same point in many different ways, so that
we're just gonna beat this horse to death.
We can both look smart.
Okay, yeah.
Who out there has read Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut? It's a great book. Anyway, one of the fabulous analogies in that book is this. He talks about how if you throw a bunch of oranges in a box, they will automatically they'll do this, right? So they'll become 4 circles, and then one will magically kind of settle in the middle like that, right? That's like a little pyramid.
It looks like a retarded bear.
It does look like a retarded bear, and I could add fur. But
you don't want furry oranges.
So spheres or oranges naturally arrange themselves almost just by nature because they. Is that am I making sense?
Yeah,
right.
Mostly.
They naturally kind of.
I mean, bring it home, but.
Bring it home. Well, and that's essentially how even molecules. I don't mean to get scientific work because there's a natural physical.
The universe likes order.
Pattern that they fall into. I mean, if you take a bunch of. But here's the thing. So you're. In this book of his, they create this stuff called Ice 9, which is a certain it rearranges water, that it has its own different physical properties. So when you dump it in water, all the water freezes because it's creating a new pattern, right? So let's say this is the stagnated. This is one pattern, and then I'm not making any sense.
Why are we creating new patterns?
Oh no, hold on. Because what I'm saying is that when you have good energy and when you take care of yourself, you emit a different configuration on the world, and people will naturally arrange themselves around you in a. I'm doing a terrible job of talking about this, but will naturally arrange themselves around you in a way that sort of.
Supports you and supports them.
Inherent in how you are arranged. And I noticed that with a lot of my clients, if they start to change, there's usually a lot of pain at first because they naturally repel the people in their lives that are bad for them.
Yes.
Because those people they no longer fit.
Yep.
And
that can be a very hard part of doing this work.
Yeah, change is really, really, really all. What did Deepak Chopra? He said something along the lines of. Is all change is preceded by chaos.
Mm-hmm.
All great change.
But it's just tearing down a structure that did not serve you in the first place to rebuild one that does.
And the thing is that the thing is the structures will naturally be torn down, and you'll feel powerless. Like, why is this happening?
Yeah, you don't have to go out and destroy anything.
It's just going to happen naturally as you become more of you, and it's going to be painful.
And then you can trust the things that remain because those are truly supporting you.
Yes. And a more grounded way of talking about it would be, no, I don't mean to, I'm talking about myself. Let's say you have an unhealthy relationship with your sister or your brother, or your mother or your father or whomever. And let's say you guys connect, or usually you get together and you complain about other people, and that's your connection, right? And then one day you're like, I'm tired of this, and you point this out to this other person that I don't want to complain about other people. I'm tired of us bringing everyone down. This person goes, how could you say this to me, and all this stuff, and all of a sudden the relationship between you two has changed. And if you guys reconnect and stop complaining about people, your relationship will be healthier. But it will only be healthier if the person acquiesces to the new structure that you have in your heart and mind and soul and whatever. So that's sort of what I mean.
And I think actually that does a really reasonable job of explaining that sort of.
It's just reasonable. It's not very good. It's just reasonable, which means that
it's slightly okay.
She like gets it, but she can say it better than that. And there's.
I wasn't even going to try to say it better than that. I was going to bring up a new point, which you are.
Okay.
I was going to add to your point by saying that this really supports the idea of, change yourself and your world will start to change around you, which I think is something that, people talk a lot about, and it tends to sound a little ridiculous, but it is very true, because when you drill down to your essential self and
well, what does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know. I heard myself say that, and I was like, "What the fuck am I talking about?"
Because that's what
I mean. But it's that whole self. It's that whole self that is already in you that you have to uncover the layers that you've put on yourself, and that other people have put on you, and that life has put on you, because that's life's job. But if you find that lovely, chewy, delicious center of yourself, and you really start living from that place, then your world will reorganize itself around you. And when you were talking about the oranges, I remembered a study that I'm going to misquote horribly. We should really
why don't you misquote it well?
Okay, I will misquote it beautifully.
Yes, do a beautiful job of misquoting.
There was an experiment done where it was water. Somebody took water and put them in different jars, and the different jars were, he spoke to them. One jar got words of love and words of affection. No, I'm going to show you this goddamn study, and you're going to see it. It's amazing. And then another.
Excuse me. Man,
he's gonna make fun of it now.
Fuck you fucking water.
Yeah, no, and then the water gets really upset, and you can see, like, when you look at the water under microscope, then the water that got loved, it's a beautiful pattern. It's really gorgeous, and the water that got hated it looks like Jabba the Hutt under a microscope. It's just all blubby and sloppy and
that's
gross.
What I look like under a microscope.
Well, because you were hating yourself. That's why.
Under
well, we all look that way.
Like, what if
microscope, like little bits of fat and globules? I don't know.
Sorry, I can't get over it. I can't get over it. Is that so? Like when the Pope blesses like certain things?
Yeah, that's a real thing. Like. Monks blessing water is a thing.
So monks actually serve a purpose in this world.
Yes.
They bless our water.
Yes.
And they make it
and
better.
Rabbis, don't they bless like kosher food?
They do. What do you think? Like the food changes when the rabbi blesses it, like the little molecules.
Well, it's an intention. The rabbi is sending out on intention, and those choices, like making a choice to say, "Hey, this food is awesome for me." Like, I'm not sure it's going to turn a Hostess cupcake into a carrot, but.
So do you think, like, if you go to In-N-Out and they have the little Christian thing on the bottom of the cup, it says like Luke. If you go
yeah, like a little, like a proverb.
Yeah. Do you think that changes the chemical composition of the soda? Probably not. Probably not.
I feel like it really has to be done deliberately and with a very pure intention before. I'm just guessing. I don't know, but I feel like that's a thing, because like when I guess the most the example I can give is like when I'm having a rough time in my life for whatever reason, and then I wake up in the morning, and rather than being pissed off and angry and upset as I have been for maybe the past 2 days,
Really?
I say, okay.
What's wrong?
Oh, nothing's wrong right now. I'm giving an example.
2 days? Been upset for 2 days? You didn't call me?
I have not been upset for 2 days.
Okay. I'm a therapist.
Everything is good.
Just so you know. I would constitute a dual relationship, but I am a therapist, and you can talk to me if you need to.
Well,
talk to me.
thank you. I appreciate that. I will keep that in mind.
I'm a receptive and open and pleasant person.
I will keep that in mind.
And I have offices in San Francisco and Marin County.
He does.
Just in an event, in case you needed to know that.
What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh, yeah. So when I wake up and decide that I want to change the way my day and therefore my life is going,
you start cussing at your water.
No, because that makes the water worse. You have to like stroke the water and pet it like a cat. No, I decide, you basically decide to have a good day, or you decide to take whatever comes in your day and, either accept it as it is or transform it or just enjoy it. And that really is very powerful. Like, I believe humans don't really understand our power of choice fully. And so I guess I'm drawing this correlates to the water by like, I am choosing to make this water awesome.
Yeah, I think choice also goes pretty deep. I think that sometimes, the word choice needs to be redone. I think sometimes we want to make a choice and we can't, because it actually goes much, much deeper. I don't actually believe that biology...
Yeah, you can't always make the choice you want.
Like, that biology is not that important. People say, it's part of my genetics. Well, I think we all choose everything on a really deep level.
Well, and just a quick point with that, the more of this kind of work you do, the more quickly your choices will work for you. Like, because you'll be making choices that really are aligned and really do fit with your true self. Because I think, like, if you try to make a choice that doesn't align with you as you are now, it's not going to work in the same way, which is just a really it's another really strong reason to just keep.
And I think that a lot of that I'm not much of a new age thinker, but a lot of that stuff about how you envision the thing that you want and you get it. I think a lot of that actually, I know I don't buy it, but what I'm saying is I think where that's coming from is that you have to learn how to choose the life you want, and that's actually really difficult. Like, if you want to, like, there may be a part of you that doesn't want to succeed, doesn't want the house, doesn't want the kids, doesn't want the perfect whatever.
Because that's not really actually what you need at that time.
Right.
And something in you deep down knows that.
And then I had an idea.
Oh, what's your idea?
For like a water filter for new age hippies. Like, you can have like a little recording that sits on your sink and like says, "I love you" as the water comes out. And then everything you drink in your sink will be good for you. Nice.
All right. You should patent that shit.
You could just leave one in your fridge, and then it could like permeate
your
everything.
Money worries are over.
Or if you don't like somebody, you can put like a little "fuck you" recording on their sink.
The voodoo water filter for people you hate.
Right. That's
high five.
Yeah. That's my thought for the day. I think it's
Did we answer your question?
Did we answer your question? How do I find my purpose and truly use and be truly of use in this world?
Just keep being the most amazing person you already are.
And take lots of notes.
Scroll.
It's very important to take notes.
That helps, I guess. Yeah.
Make little paper airplanes out of your notes.
Ooh, I do like that. Or sometimes what also helps is to take all those notes you've made and set them on fire over a sink. Don't like.
That's that they do that.
It's very cleansing.
Like in my sort of Jungian shtick, they talk about like burning stuff a lot.
Yeah, burning's great.
Yeah, it's like alchemy. Do you know about alchemy?
I do know about alchemy.
Alchemy's kind of cool, but I'm not going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, he's just going to make a paper airplane out of Lisa's question here and his notes, and send it off into. Woo! I guess we're done because we're throwing things at my computer now. Bye.